Hello, and welcome to the weekly broadcast of Strategic Speaking for Results. Have you ever passed up an opportunity because you didn't feel ready? Did you ever not ask for a raise or a promotion because you didn't feel like you could do it perfectly? Or maybe there was a speaking engagement or a chance to be on a panel and you didn't think you'd be good enough. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bachman, and today I'm talking about why women so often wait until we are 150% ready before we take a chance. Now, as a podcast host and as a speaker trainer, I talk to conference organizers and other podcast hosts all the time from all over the world. And often I will notice that at the conference, 95% of the presenters are men. And when I ask the organizer, I say, why don't you have more women? Most of the time, the answer is, we'd love to have more women, but they don't volunteer, they don't apply. Or if I ask somebody, they'll say, oh, I'm not ready now. Ask me again next year. And of course, we all know that'll never happen. So the question is, why is it that we don't ask? Women don't ask. Quite often we will hint instead of asking. And I went into that in much more detail in another video. I'll post the link below. What is it that makes us feel as if we have to be perfect? We have to know 100% of the job before we can actually do it. I have asked some of my male friends if they run into this, and they said, no, if I've got 30% of it, I'll say yes, and then I'll just figure it out. I'm wondering if one of the reasons might be because as children, we are socialized. Boys are socialized to be brave, to take chances. If you fall down, pick yourself up and try again. And girls are raised to be careful. If you fall down, if you take a chance and fall down, the reaction is often, oh dear, poor thing. Did you hurt yourself? Did you tear your clothing? And so girls are trained, socialized to not take that kind of chance. I know from hearing from my many clients that this is something that takes place when you're asking for a job, when you're asking for a promotion. Of course, I'm not in the room with them, but then they'll say, I didn't feel as if I was ready, and so I didn't apply. It happens a lot. And a lot of the managers I talk to and the senior executives I talk to say, I wish the women would apply, but if they're not quite ready, they won't do it. Now, maybe this has to do with what I spoke about last week in terms of the pressure of feeling as if you're the representative of your category, if you will. Maybe you're the only Black person, the only Asian, the only woman. And you have the feeling that if you do something wrong, if you make a mistake, then all women will be um, determined to make the same kind of mistake. That does happen, but less and less. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try, that you shouldn't take a chance. What I found, the key thing, and I know this feeling, what helps is to get support. One of the things I do in the Visible Valued Masterminds is we have group calls every 2 weeks. That's very important because most of my clients are women, and most of it's about helping women take their rightful place in society, in their organizations. But having the support of the group is incredibly important, especially for women. What I found is, but you have to get trained support. Don't just ask your friends for for what do they think, because they might have the same bias against taking a chance that you do. Get trained support, educated feedback. This is what happened to my client, Tara. She is an associate dean at UCLA. She's very good at what she does. She likes her job, but for her, for most academics, recognition comes in the forms of being invited to speak at conferences. And she watched her associates and her colleagues flying here and there to speak at this conference or that conference, and she was never asked. It was when she started to work with me in a group that was part of the visible and valued techniques, before I called it that Tara realized how important the support was. And she wrote to me and said, I wanted to build my confidence. It's helped a lot to get these new techniques, but especially important was the support of the group. Thank you. And indeed, I'm glad to report that Tara now speaks regularly at very important conferences and is compensated well and gets the recognition that she deserves. So if you're hanging back, if you're worried, raise your hand anyway, ask, and get support if you need someone to help encourage you. This has been Strategic Speaking for Results. I'm Elizabeth Bachman. I'll see you on the next one.